Biologists use a hierarchical system called taxonomy to organize all life on Earth. Think of it like a cosmic filing system. It starts with massive, inclusive categories at the top, the domains, and then narrows down, step by step, until it identifies a single, unique species. The oldest and largest drawer in this cabinet holds the bacteria domain. These are tiny, single-celled organisms that have been surviving and swimming around in nearly every environment on Earth for about 4 billion years. The second domain is archaea. Under a microscope, they look almost identical to bacteria, but their internal genetics are entirely different. They are famous for thriving in extreme places where nothing else can survive, like boiling hot springs and deep-sea vents. Around 2 billion years ago, an archaean swallowed a bacterium, but instead of digesting its meal, the two formed a partnership. The swallowed cell lived inside the host, working together. Over time, they permanently merged into a single, highly complex cell featuring a protected center, or nucleus. This merger created the third domain of life, eukarya. Every animal, plant, and fungus you can see with your naked eye descends from that exact microscopic partnership. If we open the eukarya drawer, we find 4 distinct kingdoms: Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. You might assume scientists have one massive spreadsheet tracking every organism within these kingdoms, but biology is incredibly messy. There are roughly 8.7 million living species, plus millions more extinct ones, making a single, perfect master list impossible. This visualization shows the 3 separate databases researchers rely on. The Catalog of Life provides authoritative checklists. The Global Biodiversity Information Facility maps where organisms live today, and the Paleobiology database tracks fossil timelines to show when extinct species walked the Earth. Because no perfect, all-knowing database exists, understanding taxonomy, how we group organisms from broad domains down to specific branches, is the only reliable way to map the history of life. Let's focus on the animal kingdom. About 540 million years ago, a rapid burst of evolutionary creativity occurred, known as the Cambrian explosion. In a relatively short period, most of the major animal body plans, or phyla, appeared in the oceans. The earliest animal body plans were remarkably simple. Sea sponges, in the phylum Porifera, grew as stationary colonies with no definite shape at all. Jellyfish, in the phylum Cnidaria, developed radial symmetry, meaning their bodies were built like a wheel, with no distinct front or back. Animals needed direction. Flatworms developed bilateral symmetry, a left and right side, forming a head to move forward. Then the kingdom split based on embryo growth. Protostomes form the mouth first. We are deuterostomes. Our first opening becomes the anus, the mouth second. We are deuterostomes. Because of that microscopic difference in how our cells fold before we are even born, our evolutionary path permanently separated from the vast majority of animals on Earth, including insects, earthworms, and octopuses. Our specific lineage is the phylum Chordata, which includes animals with a spinal cord. The earliest chordatas were simple, jawless fish filtering food in ancient oceans. Over millions of years, some bony fish developed strong, fleshy fins. They used these limbs to drag themselves into shallow water and eventually onto land, becoming the first amphibians. They could walk on solid ground, but they were still tethered to the water to lay their soft, jelly-like eggs. Reptiles solved this problem by inventing the amniotic egg. By wrapping their embryos in a watertight outer shell, they essentially carried the pond with them, allowing them to reproduce entirely on dry land. While giant reptiles like dinosaurs dominated the surface, a separate lineage of early mammals broke away. They developed warm blood, fur for insulation, and milk for their young. To survive, they stayed very small and hid in the shadows. About 66 million years ago, an asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs, leaving the world suddenly empty. The surviving mammals rapidly adapted to fill those vacant ecological roles. Some evolved into fast-breeding rodents, others took to the night sky, developed slicing teeth as carnivores, or walked back into the water to become whales. Without that catastrophic asteroid impact clearing the board, the giant reptiles would have kept ruling. That mass extinction was the exact reset required for our mammalian ancestors to leave the underbrush and inherit the Earth. Within that explosion of mammalian diversity, one group took to the trees, the primates. The earliest primates, called prosimians, were nocturnal. They evolved forward-facing, reflective eyes to help them judge distances and hunt insects in the dark. As these primates grew into daylight-active monkeys, the Earth's geology intervened. The Atlantic Ocean opened up, physically tearing South America away from Africa. The monkeys that drifted to South America evolved grasping tails. African monkeys never developed them. Around 25 million years ago, they lost their tails, grew larger, and developed rotating shoulders, swinging arm over arm. We call this family Hominoidea, the apes. The drift of continents split a population in half, forcing the isolated groups to adapt to their newly distinct environments. That geological separation is why our ape ancestors developed the unique upper body strength and flexibility we still have today. Eventually, shrinking forests pushed one group of great apes out from the trees and into the open savanna. To see over the tall grass and travel efficiently, they began walking upright on two legs. This shift to bipedalism marks the start of our specific genus, Homo. Our family tree is not a straight line of simple creatures slowly getting smarter. It is a tangle mastered fire and migrated across the globe. And Neanderthals built stocky, immensely strong bodies to survive the European Ice Age. Out of all those branches, only one survived to the present day, Homo sapiens. We developed a specialized larynx that gave us the ability to produce complex spoken language and a high forehead to house an exceptionally large brain. We are the species Homo sapiens, within the genus Homo, part of the Hominidae family of great apes. We sit in the primate order, inside the class of mammals, belonging to the chordate phylum, organized under the animal kingdom, which is just one branch of the massive eukarya domain. We did not arrive here by default. Every trait we possess, from our spinal cords to our warm blood to our lack of a tail, is the result of an incredibly specific, highly unlikely chain of survival and adaptation stretching back 4 billion years.